are going to the Zoom. Brett, do you want to start us off?
Down 2 at half, you make some adjustments and subs, but it's a huge fight back. Chuck that up to a combination of subs and tactical changes, but also kind of the mentality of this group as a whole.
All the players. It's all the players, their attitude, obviously in dealing with a bad first half and not, feeling sorry for themselves and calling it a day. They attacked the second half, and you could see there was a lot of belief that we could come back, and it's not easy. It's very difficult in our game to come back two goals down and win 3-2. But it's all about the players' attitude and the leadership and, the fight and that will to win, that they had in that second half. They really took ownership. That's what you want to see midseason on, is your team take ownership. And, what I saw was the team took ownership in that second half. And certainly the subs, I always call subs solutions, right? They're solutions to, a problem, whether you're down a goal, up a goal, or, whatever you need. And I thought the solutions with Derek and Luis Diaz and Cucho coming in the game, even James, made all the difference in the world. We're down 2-0 when Cucho came in the game. Immediately you could feel the energy and the confidence of the group. And he did a lot of just little things, holding the ball, getting out of stuff. And then I thought Derek, that first goal he scored from Lucas, Lucas' second half, I thought had a great half, set up the first 2 goals. Derek scored the first 2 goals. Luis Diaz had 2 assists, and Cucho had a goal. So going back to the players that came into the game, they came in with the right attitude, and we don't win that game without the substitutes chipping in like they did.
Jacob and Tyler.
Caleb, what was the kind of big change mentality wise in the locker room here at half? Because you clearly saw there was just this extra fight.
Yeah, obviously we went 4-2-3-1, so we changed the system. That I think really threw them off. They didn't seem to really make many adjustments to that, our adjustment. So that was, I think, a big thing, but for me, it just felt like the right thing to do. It wasn't working what we were doing. And, for me, we have to, in the comeback and the win, we have to learn from the first half. Players, myself, everyone, because it wasn't a good half. But we also didn't sit there at halftime and we weren't stubborn. We said, let's change it. Let's go 4-2-3-1. Let's put natural wingers into the game. And, but listen, if we change 4-2-3-1, but the players that come in the game don't play well, then it doesn't matter. So, but outside of that, the message was, if we get the next goal, this is a team that hasn't gotten a lot of results, and, they've given up leads. So we kind of knew, our psychology, that we can chase games, we come from behind. In fact, at halftime, we talked about, we came from behind 2 goals down on this pitch and tied 2-2. So some of the psychology of that, I think, was important. But again, it's nothing I said or did. It's just their attitude after it, because I can talk at halftime, but unless it resonates, and unless they go out and actually grab the bull by the horns and take the initiative, then nothing matters. So all the credit goes to the players, and we'll learn from the first half. We won't forget about that. We need to learn from that. That was a bad half, but what a comeback. What a great mentality out of the group, and another big 3 points on the road, and great debut for Cucho.
That change from 4-2-3-1, was it as simple as you just needed guys to kind of get behind the defense, kind of extend a little bit, or was it just the wrong kind of formation at the start, or did it come down to execution? I guess what was kind of the...
I think anytime you're down 2-0, you got to look at everything. Is it personnel? Is it system? Is it just execution? Is it just mentality was not right? 34 games, you're going to have lulls in your mentality. I'd love to have every game, 34 games, 90 plus minutes where they're sharp and focused, but that's why you play sports, and you never sometimes know what you're going to get. I mean, and so I thought just for whatever reason, they were a little flat, to start the game. And, we've shown the 3-5-2 works really well. Obviously we had a few different pieces in there. Obviously we got some young guys playing as well. You can't forget that. Sometimes there's some inconsistencies with young players. But bottom line, it's just wasn't good enough, and we knew it needed change. So for this game, that was the right move.
We'll go Tyler, then Thomas Costello, and Adam King.
Coach, second half, you guys seem to be playing more on the right side, attacking your defense, a defense that has a good stat line here at home. Was there something that you pinpointed out to get that and have that like in your back pocket?
Yeah, again, just took off a back, right? And then you're adding on attackers, and you're adding on natural wingers, and you're able to create now 2v1s naturally. And Lucas, is now central between the lines. So it's a system that's very comfortable with our guys. We've played that system a lot. We won an MLS Cup out of that system, so it was an easy adjustment. We've played that system a lot this year at the start of the year, and we weren't getting results. So I think it's going to continue to be game by game. And, I think the fact that we can change systems halftime and, make those adjustments is a huge thing. So it doesn't mean that all of a sudden now 4-2-3-1 is going to be the answer the rest of the year. But for today, we're looking at what they were doing. We felt like we could get at their outside backs, and we were able to create 2v1s versus 1v1s. As simple as that sounds. And 4-2-3-1 offers, when you play a Derek and a Luis Diaz, the ability to really, stretch their outside backs and create overlaps with our outside backs and create those 2v1s wide. And when you look at the first goal, Lucas in behind to Derek, who finishes. Second goal goes wide to Luis Diaz in behind, for Derek to finish. And then the last one was a transition. Great ball by Luis Diaz in behind to Cucho, and that's a top finish. Okay, and we've been saying it, we need a striker that's going to do that. And he showed why we signed up.
Thomas.
Yep. Thanks for the time, Coach. Congratulations on the win. You just talked about Cucho's goal and world class it was. Right when he came in, though, he was tracking back in the defensive half of the field. He was some of the things that folks were thinking, okay, how is it going to work outside of scoring goals? And he was fired up and he was ready to go. Is that maybe just first match really excited, or are you hoping every match this is what you're expecting out of this?
I think what you saw in the 30-minute snapshot is what you're going to get. He's a dynamic player. The way that he gobbled up ground, his explosiveness on the goal, you saw he's probably quicker than you guys thought. We saw that on film. His quality at the end. I mean, his final prep touch to then basically just dink it over the keeper. That's what the type of player that he is can do. And little stuff, he holds the ball. He was able to kind of dribble underneath and get out of stuff, tight spaces. We really like that in scouting him. He's not a guy that's just going to stay in between the center backs and just be a base. He's dynamic. He can come underneath. He can float wide. He can stretch. He can score in the box. He's very good hold up. There are a couple of little headers he had. So, I think, again, that's what you're going to get out of him.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And I
Tom.
think the other thing I want to say is the energy that he has, the positive, the smile, the attitude, everything, the way he interacts with his teammates, it's a big thing. And, when you have a top striker, it gives your team confidence, and I think you saw immediately when he went into the game, the confidence grew with the players around him. Now all of a sudden Lucas is linking up right with him and he's coming to life. And, players come to life when they're around other very good players.
And also, really quick, can you talk about Diaz's kind of maturity? He laid off on that first assist that he had. He was really exploiting Navarro just because, like you said, you changed the formation. They were tired, and he made him get a red card towards the end of the match. Like, can you talk about Diaz and arguably one of his best matches for Columbus in 45 minutes?
Yeah, again, we won an MLS Cup with Derek on the left and Luis Diaz on the right, and Lucas at the 10 and Aiden Morris. So, we know that works. So again, it's great that people can see that the 4-2-3-1 is still a good system for us and it can work. It's also great for people to see that we can play different systems, 3-5-2 if we need, and we've won a game on the road out of that system, Toronto. 4-3-3, we won a game on the road against Atlanta. So I think it's great for us to be able to do that, and it makes it, again, very difficult for the opponent to game plan for us because we can do a lot of different things or change mid-game.
Thanks, Thomas. Adam, do you want to close us out?
Yeah, Coach, a lot of times this season you've talked about the mentality and kind of growing mid-season. Does this feel like that turning point that you've mentioned? I mean, a comeback down 2-0, not only that, but the energy Cucho brought. Does this feel like the best point of the season and the perfect way to go to the second half here?
I mean, we're 6 games unbeaten. So it's kind of strange a little, that has been lost in the shuffle. I mean, I think the turning point's been the last 6 games. We're 6 unbeaten and 3 of those are wins, and a lot of them are on the road. What is it? 4 on the road? 4 out of the 6 on the road. So I think the turning point's been this whole stretch. I think we grow every game, and I think we grew today. We grew in that second half. We learned from the first half, but the Toronto win on the road was a massive win. The Atlanta win on the road was a massive win. We're disappointed that we drew Charlotte, but points are points. Doesn't matter where you get them, and I think now that's 8 results on the road in 10 games.
Great, thanks everyone. That'll conclude our availability with Caleb Porter.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Travel safe.